Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 17 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. Before long, the Fire Realm feast that led the Black Butcher to his epiphany and breakthrough was served. Luo Feng devoured the feast, his eyes lighting up with excitement. He was a regular at the Fire Realm restaurant, but today's banquet with large chunks of meat meticulously refined his godly body and stimulated his soul. The soul stimulation was tenfold greater than before. Good. Luo Feng praised repeatedly. The Fire Realm restaurant's fare already suited his taste, but now, after the Black Butcher's culinary skills had broken through to the source of Law Realm, Luo Feng was becoming infatuated with the Fire Realm feast. It was simply delightful. The completely transformed Fire Realm feast was the top delicacy Luo Feng had ever tasted within Huyang City. This flavor. Sang Shuiyun, who was tasting beside him, also seemed excited. I've lived in Huyang City for so long, and the Black Butcher's cooking skill can now be considered the best in Huyang City. There were indeed several eternal true gods in Huyang City who loved cooking, but the Black Butcher was the only one who had stepped into eternity through the art of cooking. Having fully comprehended the essence of the source of law as a cultivator of the law lineage, his culinary arts were naturally even more extraordinary. This Fire Realm feast, I feel, greatly benefits my cultivation. Luo Feng could feel that the transformed Fire Realm feast was even more effective than many auxiliary cultivation items. Brother Luo He, why not take the opportunity to understand the mysteries of artifact refining? Sang Shuiyun suggested. Good idea. I certainly have some confusions, Luo Feng mused as he ate and drank, contemplating the numerous intricacies of the primal chaos great strength diagram for his third body refinement. With more than 2 decades of cultivation experience, he had accumulated a great depth of knowledge. Thinking all the while, Luo Feng also discussed with Sang Shuiyun. His insight seemed heightened by the soulful stimulation from the delectable food. Some perplexities cleared up after just a few words from Sang Shuiyun. After the Black Butcher's enlightenment of the source of law, his small cosmos back in his homeland began to expand. With Lord Luo He present, my transformation within the Fire Realm restaurant is actually the safest. The Black Butcher suppressed his excitement and meditated in the small building, patiently waiting for the expansion of his small cosmos to complete. In his home region of the primordial cosmos, time flowed 10,081 times faster than in the land of origin. So, just in the time of a chat and drinks, his small cosmos back home had completed its transformation. The Black Butcher's true god's heart had fully transformed, and his entire godly body began evolving to a higher level. An endless stream of divine power transmitted from his distant homeland through the true god's heart to his whole body. I've finally broken through to the eternal true God realm. The Black Butcher was overwhelmed with emotion, having waited far too long for this day. In Huyang City, he had seen guests come and go, always greeting them with a smile. He had even maintained a smiling face under the pressure of the dark forces. At last, he had made his breakthrough. He had fully entered the ranks of the powerful in Huyang City. Even though I've broken through, I'm just a newly advanced eternal true God. Within Huyang City, I still need to tread carefully. The most important thing for me is to maintain my relationship with Lord Luo He. The Black Butcher was very clear about this. He immediately left the small building and headed straight to where Luo Feng and Sang Shuiyun were. Muyu Qingyang did not stop the Black Butcher, allowing the restaurant owner to go in. Black Butcher, congratulations, Luo Feng said with a smile. My achievements today are all thanks to the Divine Monarch. The Black Butcher bowed deeply in respect. Without your protection, how could I have amassed such resources over these 2 decades and achieved today's breakthrough? For this great kindness, I do not know how to repay you. Luo Feng laughed. When I visit your restaurant in the future, just give me some discount. Now that your culinary skills are renowned as the best in Huyang City, the prices are sure to rise 100-fold. I'm going to feel the pinch. Divine Monarch, from now on, your meals at my restaurant will always be free, the Black Butcher declared generously. Luo Feng looked at the Black Butcher and said, then it's a deal. I won't pay with primal chaos crystals anymore. The Black Butcher was somewhat excited by this and repeated, it would be my honor. Black Butcher, you're really lucky, Sang Shuayun remarked as he looked at the Black Butcher. At their level, they wouldn't really take advantage of petty benefits from eating and drinking. By saying this, Luo Feng was expressing an attitude: the Fire Realm restaurant was his place. After all, the strongest eternal true god of Huyang City who specializes in cooking may face many involuntary situations. With Luo Feng's protection, the Black Butcher, a newly advanced eternal true god, could truly stand firm in Huyang City. No choice, too many powers lurk in Huyang City, and a newly advanced eternal true god who doesn't rely on a major power will encounter plenty of troubles. Unless one is unattached like Sang Shuayun. I'll go down and cook a few more dishes for the Divine Monarch, the Black Butcher said with a laugh before excusing himself. Inside the small building. Brother Luo He, are you going to protect the Black Butcher from now on? Sang Shuayun asked in surprise. In all of Huyang City, I like his cooking the best, and his temperament is also good, Luo Feng said with a smile. By protecting him, I'm also protecting my gastronomic pleasure. You're too kind, willing to help the weak, Sang Shuayun said. Sometimes, being kind and benevolent can be costly in this world. Luo Feng looked at him. My kindness depends on who the recipient is. By the way, since you're studying key skills in body refinement, are you interested in learning artifact refining? Sang Shuayun asked. I know a bit about weapons, armors, and mechanical flow secret treasures. Although I've taken many disciples, in terms of talent in this area, you are far stronger than any of them. I'm not interested for now, Luo Feng replied. When I am, I'll ask you for guidance. All right, whenever you want to learn, I'll teach you. Sang Shuayun was still willing to teach. Actually, in terms of inheritance in artifact refining, his master mountain-sitting guest was a godly king in the artifact refining lineage, so Luo Feng naturally had access to this system of inheritance. It's just that understanding it was quite esoteric. Having Sang Shuayun's guidance could save him from taking many detours. The two of them talked about artifact refining and the situation in Huyang City. Only after they finished eating, drinking, and discussing, did they part ways. Let's go. Luo Feng, carrying Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, left when the entire Fire Realm restaurant was in a celebratory mood. Master has become an eternal true god. Master has made a breakthrough. The many disciples of the Black Butcher, including Suo Zi, were wildly excited. Previously, they were just disciples of a true god of void space. But now, they had ascended to heaven. Each one of them had become a disciple of an eternal true god. Their status within Huyang City had greatly risen. Under normal circumstances, how difficult it was to take an eternal true god as a master. And the price was even more exorbitant. They were all from the lower echelons of Huyang City, merely learning from a true god of void space. Now, happiness had descended from the heavens, their master had broken through by himself. Naturally, each of these disciples was thrilled. Suo Zi, congratulations, you've really hit the jackpot, becoming a disciple of an eternal true god straight away, Suo Yun, who had grown accustomed to looking down on his brother over the past 2 decades or so, said. His brother was content to be a chef, something Suo Yun looked down upon, thinking him fearful, incompetent, and lacking in ambition. Wanting to become powerful in a place like Huyang City, how could one not fight recklessly? Not take risks? Not seize every opportunity? If it weren't for the frequent encounters with Lord Luo He, Suo Yun would have been too lazy to have too much to do with his brother. But who would have thought fate could be so magical? Suo Zi had actually become a disciple of an eternal true god. It's the master's greatness, we're just lucky, Suo Zi said, filled with joy at the moment. Meanwhile, Luo Feng, Morosa, and Moyu Qingyang had already left on the flying boat. Standing in the cabin of the flying boat, Luo Feng looked outside at the endless Huyang City covered in snow, so beautifully enshrouded in mist. Huyang City had completely turned into a city of ice and snow. He really liked this city. Coming to the land of origin, choosing to live in Huyang City. One reason was he wanted to see more of the world, another was to avoid the primal chaos overlords and the godly kings. That's why he chose this frontier metropolis, Huyang City. Before becoming a primal chaos overlord, it's better to stay hidden here. Luo Feng understood that he was still weak and not fit to clash with primal chaos overlords. It's time to prepare for the third body refinement, thought Luo Feng. After today's conversation with Shang Qianyang, mastering the three body refinements of the primal chaos great strength diagram was only a theory. Those who could complete the three body refinements were considered skilled in the field of artifact refining. Luo Feng's progress was so rapid that even Shang Qianyang wanted to teach him more artifact refining skills. The third body refinement requires materials estimated to be worth 3.6 million cosmic sand. Luo Feng frowned slightly. I only have just over 1 million cosmic sand, quite a bit short. I'll have to sell one of my mechanical flow treasures. Luo Feng thought. Of the 4 mechanical stream secret treasures currently in his possession, the Shawu wings with controlled primal chaos and wing blade were useful. The superwide primal chaos domain was still of great use to Luo Feng. Moreover, Shawu wings held special significance to Luo Feng. Naturally, he couldn't sell it. His primary method of combat relied on the perfect divine body. The Myriad Realms Escape Command, a mechanical stream secret treasure, was of great help to him. The Lifeblood River was less important compared to the Myriad Realms Escape Command. The Sword of the World's Core, which only had the effect of condensing primal chaos divine power, was of no use to Luo Feng, as his perfect divine power, with the aid of Shawu wings and Lifeblood River, transformed and condensed power no less than primal chaos divine power. Within Huyang City, there are mainly 3 forces: the city owner's mansion, the Shi Kingdom, and the third local force. Luo Feng considered, let the city owner's mansion and the local force make an offer. Whoever offers more, I'll sell to them. Luo Feng made his plan and immediately sent a message to Mo Li Meng and Xu Yu, informing them that he intended to sell the mechanical stream secret treasure, Sword of the World's Core. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The Sword of the World's Core held little attraction for Luo Feng. But for eternal true gods with higher realms and those who had mastered moves of the primal chaos realm, it was very attractive. Their divine power was not as pure as Luo Feng's. Possessing the Sword of the World's Core could significantly boost their strength. Yin Kang relied on the Sword of the World's Core for such terrifying assassination power. While the city owner's mansion and local forces were all focused on the Sword of the World's Core, an ordinary-looking dark red flying boat arrived at Huyang City. Inside the dark red flying boat, 2 figures stood in the cabin, looking out at the city. It seems the Marquis is ready to act, to fully seize Huyang City, a female figure with an icy body said. That is why he sent the second brother here to join forces with Shui Yun. Behind Huyang City stands the Marquis of Zhujiang. The burly figure stood firm as if he himself were an unshakable world. Although Marquis of Zhujiang has quite a reputation, he is still a notch below the Marquis compared to our superior. The icy-bodied female nodded in agreement. Though both were venerable primal chaos overlords, fame was built over long years through strength. The Marquis Liu Yin, of their backing, Shi Kingdom, indeed had a greater reputation than the Marquis of Zhujiang. Our siblings, as well as Shui Yun, together, are enough to turn Huyang City upside down, the burly figure declared. It's just that this Shui Yun is too cautious, unwilling to take risks, and hasn't made big gains in Huyang City. When I see him later, I'd like to compare our strength. If he's less powerful than me, he'll have to listen to me. This Shui Yun, although he is from an older generation, is probably not a match for my second brother, said the icy-bodied female, well aware of her second brother's strength. We'll know after we compare, said the burly figure. The dark red flying boat moved quietly forward to meet with Divine Monarch Shui Yun. A moment later, inside an underground hall of what seemed to be an ordinary cave mansion, a figure clad in a white robe and wearing a red mask greeted 2 guests, saying with a smile, I've long heard of the fame of the 5 gods of Yuqian, of the Yuqian clan. I never expected that the Marquis would send the 2 strongest among you here. My second brother is the strongest in our family. I pale in comparison, I'm not even in the top 3 in our clan, said a woman with a body of icy coldness, as she chuckled softly, naturally emitting a chill that greatly reduced the temperature of the entire hall. So you are Shui Yun, said the burly figure looking at Divine Monarch Shui Yun, wearing a mask and disguising your aura. You don't even dare to show your real face. Divine Monarch Shui Yun continued to smile at the 2. After all, I need to stay undercover within the Yu Kingdom for a long time, so it's better to be cautious. HMPH. The burly figure indifferently said, the Marquis should have already told you about our coming to Huyang City. Yes, sending you two to assist me is for the purpose of seizing the complete formation map of Huyang City, said Divine Monarch Shuiyun. The three of us acting together must have a defined leader. The Marquis didn't specify who should take command. In my view, we ought to have a trial to decide, said the burly figure. Divine Monarch Shuiyun looked at the brother and sister, nodding lightly. I have long heard of the fame of Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi, and I would also like to test you. You two can join forces. Join forces. Both the burly figure and the woman of icy coldness changed their expression slightly. They were both very proud. 2 against 1? This was an insult to them. I alone am enough to deal with you, said the burly figure. If you can defeat my second brother, we siblings will naturally obey you, said the woman with the icy cold body. Very well, I have heard that the strongest of the Yuqian clan, Yu Qianshu, has awakened a special bloodline and has refined his body refinement secret technique to an unimaginable extent. Divine Monarch Shuiyun looked at the burly figure. Today, I shall test that. As he spoke, Divine Monarch Shuiyun released a large boat secret treasure, placing it at the center of the hall. Please. Divine Monarch Shuiyun, Yu Qianshu, and Yu Qianyi all entered the interior of the large boat secret treasure. After all, the commotion from a clash at their level was too great. Fighting inside the secret treasure could ensure the battle did not get exposed. The three strongest forces of Shi Kingdom's forces in Huyang City, at this moment, began their trial inside the large boat secret treasure, the outside world none the wiser. A moment later, 3 figures flew out. Within Huyang City, everyone regards Lord Luo his godly body as extraordinary, who alone can pierce through the mechanical stream secret treasure, Purple Jade General. But in my view, Brother Yu Qianshu, your godly body is probably even stronger than that of Lord Luo. He praised Divine Monarch Shuiyun. Even the legendary unlimited godly bodies might find it hard to surpass yours. With Brother Yu Qianshu's help, our chances of capturing the Huyang City formation map have greatly increased. My second brother's godly body can be said to be the pinnacle of bloodline cultivation path among the eternal true gods. Yu Qianyi looked at Divine Monarch Shuiyun in surprise. I didn't expect that he would still lose to a Divine Monarch. This exchange had made the siblings aware of just how deeply hidden Divine Monarch Shuiyun was. Divine Monarch Shuiyun, concealing his true identity all this while, wasn't very famous, but his strength exceeded their expectations. To this day in my cultivation, you are the eternal true God I've seen with the deepest accumulation. Yu Qianshu also expressed some admiration. In our fight, you used 5 moves from the primal chaos realm. Having deduced so many moves from the primal chaos realm, you must be a step into the primal chaos realm, right? I don't know. Divine Monarch Shuiyun shook his head. I've always been accumulating, feeling that I'm getting closer and closer to the primal chaos realm. But as the years pass, I still find myself stuck as an eternal true god. Divine Monarch Shuiyun, have you also studied the law lineage? Asked Yu Qianyi. Yes. Divine Monarch Shuiyun admitted, being stuck in a bottleneck for a long time, I tried comprehending laws. As my understanding of laws improved, I could more effectively tap into the potential of my bloodline. The two cultivation systems are not contradictory, but rather, they complement each other. Divine Monarch Shuiyun, your understanding is indeed much stronger than mine, Yu Qianshu conceded. This time, I am convinced by my defeat, and for this operation, both my sister and I will follow your lead. Yu Qianyi also nodded on the side. Looking at the pair of siblings, Divine Monarch Shuiyun secretly sighed in relief, finally having convinced them. Inside Huyang City, the city owner's mansion's greatest advantage is that geographical advantage, which in fact refers to the grand formation of Huyang City, said Divine Monarch Shuiyun. The Huyang City formation has been continuously improved by masters through generations. Once its numerous capabilities are unleashed, our strengths will also be significantly suppressed. Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi both nodded in agreement. The formation map is the core of Huyang City, guarded most strictly, said Divine Monarch Shuiyun. Speaking of the most strictly guarded place in Huyang City, it is undoubtedly the city owner's mansion, and I guess the formation map is inside the city owner's mansion. Knowing that, what can we do? Both Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi also felt troubled. We supposed to just storm in. The city owner's mansion's defenses were too strong, akin to a super-large mechanical flow secret treasure, full of dangers. No hurry. The Marquis gave us a century's time. We have plenty of time, said Divine Monarch Shuiyun. The first step is to capture all the experts who have repaired the Huyang City formation. Since they have repaired the formation, they must have some understanding of it. Collect as much information about the Huyang City formation from them first. They might know the location of the complete formation map, said Shuiyun. How many experts who have repaired the formation are there in Huyang City? Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi were not aware. Historically, there have been many who repaired it, but there are 9 who are still in Huyang City, said Shuiyun. One has already pledged allegiance to us, but the other 8 are somewhat troublesome. Capture 8 eternal true gods? For the Yuqian siblings, this was no pressure. With a wave of his hand, Divine Monarch Shuiyun conjured the detailed information of 7 eternal true gods in midair. Our targets are these 7 eternal true gods. 7? Wasn't it 8? Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi were puzzled. The person responsible for repairing the formation of Huyang City was named Shong Qianyang, Divine Monarch Shuiyun explained. He is skilled in artifact refining and belongs to the mechanical school, ranking as one of the top artifact refining masters within Huyang City. However, he is the best friend of Lord Luohe in Huyang City. If we were to capture Shong Qianyang, it might easily provoke Lord Luohe. Lord Luohe? Yu Qianshu sneered. Before my siblings and I came to Huyang City, we gathered intelligence on all the eternal true gods here, and it's said that Lord Luohe hardly ever makes a move. He has killed Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python, pierced through the purple jade gem of the Huyang Guard's mechanical stream secret treasure with a single hand, and it's likely that assassin Yin Kang was killed by him too. Divine Monarch Shuiyun nodded. Indeed, he seldom takes action. He fought with assassin Yin Kang, who has seen it, who can say for sure that it was he who killed him. Yu Qianshu shook his head. Even if he did kill Yin Kang was just an assassin, known for sneak attacks, assassinations, and using escape to preserve his life. No one has ever said he had a powerful godly body. With an ordinary godly body, once he fails, he could easily die, Yu Qianshu said. In my opinion, his strength might not be that great. It was probably just a good match against Yin Kang. None of the forces within Huyang City have seen Lord Luohe and Yin Kang fight, and yet they are this frightened. Yu Qianyi also shook his head. In my view, since he is an eternal true god, he shouldn't be much stronger than us. My second brother and you, Divine Monarch Shuiyun, are both considered at the pinnacle of the eternal true gods, so how much stronger can this Lord Luohe be? Perhaps you are right. Divine Monarch Shuiyun nodded, but our mortal enemy is the city owner's mansion. The city owner's mansion's mortal enemy is us. At this time, neither of us wants to provoke unnecessary trouble or gain an uncontrollable opponent. Since Lord Luohe, not vying for power or benefits, there's really no need to provoke him. For the mission, let's ignore him for now. Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi were also aware of what was more important. Our first step in the plan is to capture these 7 eternal true gods. We must plan meticulously, Divine Monarch Shuiyun said. Replied Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi. They had some doubts about Lord Luohe's strength, but they were very wary of the city owner's mansion because behind it stood the ancient Marquis of Zhujiang and many godly kings of Yu Kingdom. To deal with Lord Luohe, the city owner's mansion could not transfer some strong forces from higher up. But when dealing with forces from Shi Kingdom, the city owner's mansion could legitimately request support. Under the night sky enveloping Huyang City, Luo Feng sat at the peak of a high mountain in his own cave mansion, drinking while contacting Moli Meng and Xu Yu. 10 days have passed, you must have thought it over, Luo Feng messaged them separately. The mechanical stream secret treasure, Sword of the World's Core, you have also experienced its power in my cave mansion. Make your offers. There will be competition from many parties, and the highest bidder will win. Luo Feng had actually only contacted these 2 parties. But Moli Meng and Xu Yu did not know how many forces Luo Feng had really contacted. 1.5 million cosmic sand, Moli Meng offered. 1.3 million cosmic sand, Xu Yu also stated his price. Luo Feng responded, the current price is 1.5 million cosmic sand. In fact, these past few days, Luo Feng had also visited the Flame Wind Pavilion to inquire, and the Flame Wind Pavilion was willing to buy it for 1.4 million cosmic sand. However, Luo Feng did not want to sell to them because for the Flame Wind Pavilion, whose commercial network nearly spans the land of origin, what treasures have they not seen? They were only willing to offer a relatively low price. 1.55 million cosmic sand, Jiu messaged. At that moment, a gentlewoman was sitting beside him. Lord Wei, the bidding is very competitive. Lord Luo He has raised the price to 1.65 million cosmic sand, Jiu said to the gentlewoman beside him. This gentlewoman, a formidable figure hidden within Huyang City. Even the Shu clan was wary of her. Increase by 50,000 cosmic sand each time, the gentlewoman instructed. It's now 1.75 million cosmic sand. 1.9 million cosmic sand, Jiu noted each price while watching the woman's reactions. Tell that Lord Luo, 2 million cosmic sand is my final offer. Any higher, forget it, the gentlewoman said. Jiu nodded. Once the final price was stated, Jiu waited a moment before showing joy. 2 million cosmic sand, the sword of the world's core, belongs to Lord Wei. 2 million cosmic sand is a reasonable price to pay, especially since we don't know when we might encounter another mechanical stream secret treasure capable of condensing primal chaos divine power, the gentlewoman smiled. Lord Luo He will come to the Shu clan soon to personally deliver the sword of the world's core. Would you like to meet Lord Luo He? Jiu asked. I am not suited to show face, Lord Wei shook her head. Jiu understood. Meanwhile, several divine power incarnations gathered at the city owner's mansion. 2 million cosmic sand? Did Luo He intentionally inflate the price? How can a single sword of the world's core be priced so high? A white-haired elder frowned. The price is too high, we're not buying. If the price was inflated, this Lord Luo He will lower it and come back to us, a companion commented. Moly Meng was responsible for communicating with Luo Feng. The final price for the sword of the world's core is 2 million cosmic sand. It has been sold, Moly Meng looked around at his companions. It's sold, the white-haired elder was startled. Luo Feng brought Morosa to the Shu clan's cave mansion. After all, they were both in the primal chaos armor sector, so the distance was close. As expected of the Shu clan, just the cost of this formation alone is quite high, Luo Feng said, looking at the grand formation in operation. The power of the formation was the strongest he had seen within Huyang City. With such a terrifying formation, assassin Yin Kang wouldn't be able to kill his way inside. After more than 2 decades of cultivation, Luo Feng had made significant advancements, yet even so, he might have hopes of tearing through the formation and killing his way in only by burning divine power. Nearly all the core members of my Shu clan live here, we can't afford to be careless, Jiu explained with a smile as he accompanied Luo Feng. For this formation, my Shu clan also exhausted a great amount of karmic luck. Luo Feng nodded. Unlike the 5 great families, which were only branches, the Shu clan was rooted here, so naturally, they fortified their cave mansion as impregnable as a fortress. Soon, Luo Feng saw a thin old man with green secret patterns on his skin. The old man looked at Luo Feng with a smile. Lord Luo He. Patriarch Zhu Hu, Luo Feng said courteously. In terms of renown within Huyang City, Patriarch Zhu Hu was on par with Mo Li Xiao and Divine Monarch Shui Yun. Please, Patriarch Zhu Hu led the way into a small building. Zhu Hu, Zhu Yu, and Luo Feng each took their seats, as exquisite food and fine wine were served. It is only today that I have the opportunity to meet with Lord Luo He, Patriarch Zhu Hu said, looking at Luo Feng with admiration. Although the god has not been in Huyang City for long, his fame is now the greatest in the city. That's just an empty reputation, Luo Feng remarked. Lord Wei, you flatter me, Patriarch Zhu Hu gestured, and a green jade vial flew towards Luo Feng, landing on the table in front of him. 2 million cosmic sands, God, you can verify. Luo Feng checked it with his divine power and indeed, it was exactly 2 million cosmic sands, not a grain less. This made Luo Feng inwardly marvel at the strength of the native forces represented by the Zhu family, so easily parting with such a massive amount of wealth. This is the sword of the world's core, Luo Feng handed over the mechanical stream secret treasure, Sword of the World's Core, to Patriarch Zhu Hu. Patriarch Zhu Hu briefly checked it before storing it away. With the transaction complete, the atmosphere became even more congenial. After they had eaten and drunk their fill, Luo Feng took his leave from Patriarch Zhu Hu, with Zhu Yu personally seeing him out. "There's no need to see me out." Outside the main entrance of the Zhu clan's cave mansion, Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa, piloted the flying boat and left. Patriarch Zhu Hu stood in front of the small building, watching the flying boat disappear into the distance. A gentle-looking woman appeared beside him. "Lord Wei, here's your Sword of the World's Core." Patriarch Zhu Hu handed the sword to the woman. "Lord Wei, have you been able to discern anything real about this Lord Luo He from your secret observations?" "He gives me a very unique feeling," the gentle woman said with interest. "I left the royal capital to travel around the cities of Yu Kingdom, and I feel that this Lord Luo He is the most stunning person I've ever seen." Patriarch Zhu Hu was surprised. "The most stunning person?" "It's just a feeling," the gentle woman immediately replied. "I bothered Patriarch Zhu Hu for this transaction. Now that I have acquired the Sword of the World's Core, I shall take my leave." "It's but a trivial matter." Patriarch Zhu Hu was still very eager to help. In terms of power, he was no less than Lord Wei. But with Lord Wei's vastly superior background compared to the 5 great families, he naturally had to treat her well. In the following days, Luo Feng sold off some of the spoils of war he had acquired to various trade associations within Huyang City, exchanging them all for cosmic sands. "I now have 3.3 million cosmic sands, and the estimated cost for 3 body refinement sessions is 3.6 million cosmic sands worth of materials. Plus some additional losses during refinement. I should prepare a bit more," Luo Feng thought, still short of over 300,000 cosmic sands. "What should I do?" He was reluctant to sell the 2 mechanical stream secret treasures, the Lifeblood River and the Myriad Realms Escape Command, just yet. He also had some eternal true god-level armor, weapons, exotic beast materials, and so on, which altogether were worth about 30 to 400,000 cosmic sands. He had more than half of the Blood of Yi beast left, which was also worth 500 to 600,000 cosmic sands. But Luo Feng didn't particularly want to sell that either. "Short of over 300,000 cosmic sands, I'll just take on another bounty mission," Luo Feng nodded lightly. "It's been so long since I've made a move, I'm afraid it won't deter those ferocious characters. Choose one that deserves to be killed." Luo Feng began scouring the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall for assassination tasks, choosing carefully. Suddenly, "Brother Luo He, you must hurry to the Heavenly Flame Sect," Mo Li Meng transmitted to Luo Feng. "What happened to the Heavenly Flame Sect?" Luo Feng was puzzled. The Heavenly Flame Sect was the artifact refining sect created by his good friend Shang Qianyang. Shi Kingdom's forces have captured several formation masters, and it's very likely they will also capture Shang Qianyang, Mo Li Meng transmitted. Luo Feng's heart tightened. Over these past 2 decades, Brother Shang had been forthcoming with all the enigmas of body refinement he faced. And through their interactions over so long, Shang Qianyang had become his only good friend in Huyang City. As for Black Butcher, Mo Yu Hu, and others, the relationships weren't as equal, so naturally, they were some distance from good friends. "Qingyang, you stay and guard the cave mansion," Luo Feng instructed, then took Morosa with him on the flying boat, quickly leaving the cave mansion. "What's going on?" Muyu Qingyang looked on from afar. "The master seems a bit anxious." "Heavenly Flame Sect. Brother Luo He." Shang Qianyang approached with his imposing figure to greet Luo Feng and Morosa as they emerged from the flying boat. "Mo Li Meng has contacted me and said you were in danger," Luo Feng said. Shang Qianyang shook his head. "Just tonight, within Huyang City, 8 formation masters were captured at the same time by a mysterious force. All of these formation masters are eternal true gods, and none could resist." "Captured at the same time?" Luo Feng was surprised. It was not easy to capture an eternal true god alive. To do so simultaneously, dividing forces across 8 routes with each one succeeding in capturing an eternal true god, indicated a very powerful entity. Yes, most of these 8 formation masters were in their own cave mansions. Shang Qianyang nodded. "They were all captured alive and taken away. and the city owner's mansion can't even track their whereabouts. With this kind of strength and the will to act in such a way, it must be the Sha Kingdom's forces. Why did they capture them? Luo Feng pressed for answers. Zhong Qianyang replied, the formation of the entire city of Huyang City is vast, formed by a perfect combination of numerous arrays, and many formation masters have repaired it over the long years. There were 9 who did the repairs and still lived within Huyang City. Tonight, 8 were captured. I am the last one. They captured 8 and let me go. Zhong Qianyang shook his head. The city owner's mansion might even suspect that I am colluding with the Sha Kingdom's forces. Luo Feng understood. Those 8 formation masters, all in service to the city owner's mansion, isn't the mansion making efforts to rescue them? I have already inquired with the city owner's mansion. Zhong Qianyang looked up at the night sky, sighing. Their response was that at the moment the 8 formation masters were captured, their karmic messenger orders were destroyed, preventing any lock on the whereabouts of the 8 formation masters. The city owner's mansion should have the karmic mark of these 8 formation masters, Luo Feng said. With these karmic marks, they should be able to deduce the locations of the 8 formation masters. Merely with the help of karmic marks, to deduce locations. Zhong Qianyang shook his head. That's a method only the primal chaos overlord would have, isn't it? Flame Wind Pavilion can do it, Luo Feng stated. For Flame Wind Pavilion to deduce using karmic marks, it requires 1 million cosmic sand. Zhong Qianyang shook his head. The city owner's mansion wouldn't be willing to do that. Based on past experiences, once taken away by the Sha Kingdom's forces, life and death are then decided by the Sha Kingdom's forces. Luo Feng nodded slightly. That's why one must not get involved in their struggles. Getting involved means you could be crushed at any moment. Zhong Qianyang shook his head, but those of us adept in formations were ordered by the city owner's mansion to repair some of the damaged formations. We have no right to refuse. Zhong Qianyang looked at Luo Feng. I have no collusion with the Sha Kingdom, and by not capturing me this time, I guess, they do not want to offend you. Of the 9, only I was spared, said Zhong Qianyang. Those 8 who were captured were all my good friends. We often discussed formations together. I don't know if they will survive this time. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Inside a secret treasure space. Divine Monarch Shuiyun, Yu Qianshu, and Yu Qianyi, along with more than 10 eternal true gods, were interrogating in separate spaces. The Sha Kingdom's forces had 2 teams within Huyang City, a weaker team led by Chairman Zonyun and a stronger team under the command of Divine Monarch Shuiyun. Chairman Zonyun could only contact Divine Monarch Shuiyun and not the numerous subordinates of Divine Monarch Shuiyun. Answer obediently, and you can live. If you don't tell us, you'll have to die, and your clan will be destroyed too, threatened the eternal true gods. They had many methods of threat which could make these formation masters neither able to live nor die as they wish. Soon, all the captured formation masters confessed. What they understood was only the tip of the iceberg when it came to the Huyang City formation. Of these 8 formation masters, 1 was already on our side, and the other 7 have now finally confessed, Divine Monarch Shuiyun said with a smile. How shall we deal with these formation masters? Yu Qianshu asked. Release 5, kill 3, Divine Monarch Shuiyun said carelessly. First, to let all sides of Huyang City know that serving the city owner's mansion leads to a bad end. Second, to show them that we, the Sha Kingdom, merciful after all and will spare some obedient eternal true gods. Yu Qianshu furrowed his brow. We should just fulfill our task, in my opinion, kill them all. Do as I say. Divine Monarch Shuiyun glanced at Yu Qianshu and then finalized the list of the 5 to be spared, including the formation master who had sided with them. That night, the 5 surviving formation masters were released and sent back. Inside the Heavenly Flame sect, Luo Feng and Morosa sat opposite each other, drinking. Zhong Qianyang drank his wine, looking up at the night sky, quite anxious. Suddenly, his expression changed as he took out his karmic messenger order. What happened? Asked Luo Feng. 3 of the 8 friends who were captured have just had their karmic ties suddenly severed. Zhong Qianyang looked at his karmic messenger order. With the karmic ties gone, all 3 of them are dead. They clearly had no power to resist, yet the Sha Kingdom's forces still killed them. This episode is end here.